Yeah, let's go live.
I can never.
Did you get it?
I've never seen Collin be able to do it where it doesn't go straight from like the countdown to your face and then
last time. I was so proud of you.
it
was absolutely phenomenal. I was so proud.
Welcome to our last panel of the night, our surprise panel. We have just been so grateful for everyone's contributions. Everyone's being so great that we are like, hey, what the hell? Let's do an extra.
Because we're at $1,900 right now.
Yes.
And hopefully by the end of the panel, maybe we can be at 2,000. That would be phenomenal. So if you guys can please support us, we would love it. Support the American Cancer Society, amazing organization. And there's no better way than to follow up some geek panels by donating to a fundraiser. So please, please, we would appreciate that.
So since it is September the 9th, 9/9, we decided we had to do a Brooklyn Nine-Nine panel. So let me introduce the cousins.
All right.
Start my computer.
Corner, we've got over there-ish. We've got cousin Erika in the house from Dice and Dames. And then we've got cousin Lindsey from the Cutscenes and Cupcakes.
Woo! Thank you.
Of course, no amazing human / genius, Zach from the Stolen Droids and Provost Park Mask.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And my soulmate.
I was afraid we were going to have a repeat of last time. It's going to be
I learned. Okay,
he was giving it the dramatic pause it deserved.
Is Jack the Jake and Collins the Boyle of this relationship?
I think I'm the Jake and he's the Amy.
Oh, okay.
Great.
That means there's
Amy.
room for a Boyle in your life.
There is.
There is.
Hey.
I'm about to test that I'm a Boyle. I'm your obvious choice.
All right, I'll be taking applications for my Boyle after the show.
Okay.
I mean, Erika's pretty up there, though. I mean, she's literally taken every single Brooklyn Nine-Nine test on the interwebs and has been deemed the Boyle.
I am the Boyle.
You guys are all part of a Facebook group called Boyle Cousins, aren't you?
A group where we all pretend to be Boyle cousins, but we really are.
It is one of the most fantastic groups ever. It is.
It sounds so wholesome.
It
really does.
It really is. Like it's literally a support group, right?
Yeah.
There's so many people that just post on there like needing to feel something, and there'll be people saying, you know, I just don't feel that beautiful today, and they'll post a picture, and then people just start talking about different features that they love about that person.
Or it's like, I'm going through a little bit of depression right now. Like, send me some pictures of your animals, something to kind of help cheer me up. And it's like, oh, I've got so many photos for you.
It really is just a place you go to be
that
happy.
come from that group are just amazing for 9/9.
I will say, everyone I've met, like the fandom for Brooklyn Nine-Nine is just a really wholesome, loving fandom.
Mm-hmm.
I think that has to do with the like wholesome diversity of the show in itself.
Yeah.
Where there's a little bit of everything and it's all like good. They're all great. There's obviously the main characters, but everyone else has their purpose and has their place. Even down to Hitchcock and Scully.
True. So dudes.
Speaking of
boy.
which, we thought that we would go through our favorite characters and some of the main characters and just discuss about how much we love everybody.
You think that's the segue into our favorite? Do you think that's someone's favorite character on the
Speaking
panel?
of favorite characters,
Does anyone love Hitchcock and Scully? Like, write it in the comments because I want to hear your reasonings behind it.
I know you can like Hitchcock and Scully, but we want to know if they're your favorite.
Yeah.
Like your ride or
like
die
them.
Hitchcock.
I like them in the show because they're funny and they've got some great moments, but they're definitely not my favorites.
I love
I
it.
think
when
of them as one
That
character.
one episode
Yeah.
where they're just these complete like I'm sorry, a cuss
It
for
shows
some
them in the
badasses. They are just phenomenal detectives, and all because they're trying to protect this one girl that they protected way back in the day, and then we learn how they became the fat hit.
Hitchcock and Scully.
And they were
Yeah.
super hot when they
They
were
are.
young.
They were
Dude,
Well,
fine.
yeah,
Mhm.
what on?
they were pretty hot.
I mean, I would have eaten off of them. That's
Oh.
how hot they were.
That is, yeah.
That is something I've seen Collin do is eat off people he finds attractive.
Yeah, all
That
the
makes a
time.
lot of sense. I don't know why, but it does.
It's like, come over for dinner, and you're like, this is a lot of plastic. Are you going to murder me or?
I thought
Yeah,
I did
look
share.
at those guys.
Yeah.
Mike Murdoch, who doesn't like Hitchcock and Scully? See,
Let's
I
say
agree.
everybody likes them, but are they your
Yes.
favorite?
I mean,
Iko's rocking the same haircut.
Oh yeah.
High and tight, you just gotta
I'm tight.
embrace it.
who is everybody's favorite character?
Boyle.
Boyle.
Wow.
Boyle is one
Um,
of my favorites for sure, too.
He's just such a sweetheart. He tries so hard.
Mhm.
Boyle, to me, is like the perfect example of non-toxic masculinity.
Yes. Okay, but like one of my favorite times with Boyle is after Jake proposes to Amy and he walks in and he's like, "Did you just what?" And he just passes out and he can't handle it. And I'm like, I'm on that level of fangirling sometimes. I'm just like, oh, hold on, I'm gonna pass out.
Phenomenal. Oh my gosh, it's a hard toss up for me. I've got three favorites. If we're going by main characters, then probably Amy Santiago. Side characters,
Cool.
it's a tie between Doug Judy and Adrian.
Hello.
Doug Judy.
Love that Judy.
Adrian's pretty great too.
Adrian and Rosa together, like the two of them have such a weird, strange relationship, but like they just seem so right for each other.
Just work.
No way. Rosa's my favorite character, and I ship her and Gina Rodriguez so much. Gina Rodriguez is Jane the Virgin. I don't remember her name in the show, but
Yeah.
they're so
Yeah,
cute.
she didn't last long.
No,
That's so
I mean, she was
sad.
doing her own TV show. Where
Yeah.
He was a nice little guest. It
Yeah.
was so
Yeah.
cute.
Rosa is my favorite. She's so badass. I want to be her. And
My
also,
favorite. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
also her scenes of like her coming out
Yeah.
are kind of like the most sincere
Oh, phenomenal.
like episodes I've
good.
ever seen.
The way that
And-
Jake like gives a speech for her and she just starts like crying and then he's like, no, I'm not done yet.
Well,
Good friend.
those are the moments where Jake shows how good a friend he is, even though he's goofy and you don't think he takes anything seriously. But in those moments, like when he's there for Rosa as she's coming out to her family and things like that, like he's a sincere, good guy,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think my favorite thing about Rosa is when you hear the actress speak not as Rosa and you're like, wait a second. Yeah, it's weird. She was on an M&M's commercial on Facebook or something the other day, and I was like, "What?" It's just weird because I heard it I watched it without the sound, and I pictured Rosa's voice, and then I watched it with the sound, and it wasn't.
That's
It was so
acting,
weird.
baby.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Acting.
So flawless because it was when the first time I realized like the difference was during like watching the blooper. She's like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, was that a joke? And then I watched the rest and I was like,
Oh my gosh.
Phenomenal.
I love Terry. Terry's he's got to be my favorite. I just love him. Just the hardworking, good guy that's just in the middle of all these shenanigans.
Such
and
a
just
good dad.
I just love him,
man.
Don't touch Terry's yogurt.
And someday I hope to have pecs like his because they're amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone.
I think it's going to be really hard to have pecs like his that can just dance all over the place.
Dude, it just takes practice.
Are you saying I can't do it, Colin?
No, I'm not saying you
I'm
can't
going to
do
prove
it.
you wrong. Haters going to hate, man.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to prove you wrong.
Quit being a hater.
That escalated quickly.
It did.
Just listen here. This is the way, all right?
This is the way.
Well, I can read
Your
shirts too,
sweatshirt.
Under
Come on,
Armour.
Pete.
I can read shirts too, Under Armour.
Fine, whatever.
Who hasn't gone? Who hasn't said their favorite character?
Lindsey.
You have.
Mine
I haven't, but
Terry.
let's go, Lindsay.
Sorry.
You said Terry?
Terry for me. Yeah.
Yep.
Terry.
Such a good guy. And like the way that he can go, the way that Terry Crews portrays him, and he's like usually the happy, goofy guy, but then he can be really serious and take things, like he just has such a good range. And I love that about his character as well as about Terry Crews.
Mhm.
Well, the part was written for Terry Crews. So Mike Shore tells a story about how he's writing it, and he wrote it for Terry Crews. And Terry Crews wanted to do a TV show. So he's reading a bunch of pilots, and Mike Shore just like slides this across the desk, and he's like, I wrote that for you. And he's like, well, I can't say no to this.
That's so tender.
That's so sweet. It's like
So
handing
took
over
the
like the money. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
look.
Yeah. First time I watched it, my favorite character was Jake Peralta, and that he's such a great character, but I'm also a huge Andy Samberg fan. He's my favorite SNL alum, so I mean he's the reason I came to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine initially. But in subsequent viewings, it's so hard because I love the ensemble so much. But Captain Raymond Holt, the dad of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, is so good, and Andre Bauer's got incredible comedic timing, and I love the way his character evolves from just being a robot to being a robot with sass. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's clean.
So
well,
funny.
and his timing is why that works, because he just gets it so perfect. I mean, just so perfect. And people don't realize that's a much harder role to play. Someone with less emotion, and I mean, it's just harder to do, and he does it incredibly well.
Can you imagine being on set with all those quips and just having to be like, no, not funny.
I couldn't do it.
I couldn't
do
either.
it.
Which leads into my favorite cold open,
Oh
boy.
which is the Diane Weist infection. It kills me every time, the seriousness in Jake's face. Like, how did they do that?
And it's just the zoom in.
It kills me. Like, I feel like the only way I could do that was if we filmed myself separately and not in the moment, because I would not be able to hold it together.
They've started a running joke, haven't they?
Yeah.
Have they cut the Weist infection as a running joke?
I feel like it's been used, but not enough to be considered.
They should.
They should.
They should. They should bring it as a running joke.
They should be watching us right now so they can get their ideas from us.
Hey, I included them in the tweet, so maybe they're watching.
Yes, I included them on Instagram. So
I wonder. I think the most famous cold open is the Backstreet Boys one.
Yeah, and that's a good one.
It's so classic.
It's so good. But that one made the rounds on the internet hard.
It brought in a lot of fans.
Yeah. I love another cold open that's great is it's time to play everyone's favorite game, dog or wife.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
And then, but I think my favorite cold open is oldest bags.
Oh.
So they're talking about their oldest arrest they've ever made. And Boyle comes in. He's like, my oldest one, 76. That's not that old. Yeah, but I was only 20. Boyle's not talking about as old as the rest. Yes, I am.
Oh my
But
god.
you see Jake just like losing it and like laughing so hard. I love that because that is actually Andy breaking character. He's dying in that moment. Just like, this is so gross. It's like someone's grandma. That's actually how we met.
In college.
That's the amazing thing about him too, is that he breaks character all the time, and he is that character, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
I feel like he's super close to Jake Peralta.
Yeah. So that's my favorite cold open, oldest bag.
I think mine has to be when Holt comes in with like a hurt wrist or hurt body part.
Oh yeah.
He tells Jake, he's like, I'm gonna tell you how this happened. And it was a hula hoop incident.
Yes.
And Jake's like, why are you telling me this? And he's like, because no one will ever believe you.
And then he deletes the video from his phone.
So great.
I know all the
Damn
moves.
things. I'm diffusing the situation.
My favorite cold open has to be the marshmallow.
Yeah.
And they're all like, let's do an impression of
mine
Holt
too.
eating a marshmallow. And then they all go through the circle and they're all like, oh, it's spongy and over sweet, too sweet. And then Boyle's turn comes and he goes, and then it turns out that that's what Holt actually does.
I knew it.
So funny.
Oh, flawless. I know. Oh.
Yeah. Gosh,
There's
those
also
cold
the
opens are
Jimmy Jams one where they're all afraid that Holt will be pissed and he does his hot damn.
Yeah.
Oh, Holt just has to, he's such a great character.
He's a great
really
character. And that, I mean, Holt's character is obviously a credit to Andre's amazing acting, but also the writing. I mean, the ensemble is very important and extremely diverse. We touched on that just a little bit at the beginning. But I remember a story where Melissa Fumero, who plays Amy Santiago, and Stephanie Beatriz, who plays Rosa Dietz, they were talking about the audition process, and they were both auditioning for the same person. And they were getting they were auditioning for two different people. They were getting pretty far in the audition process, and they were so worried because this was going to be a primetime American TV show, and they were like, they're not going to hire two Latino women. It's not going to happen. And so they're like, okay, we'll do our hair completely different, so we look like we're not like this, because, you know, diversity all looks the same to white execs. But I love that the producers and Andy Samberg, who was pretty crucial in casting, saw through that and saw these characters for who they could be, and they made a cast that celebrates diversity instead of a cast that just has like the token POCs, right?
Well, I love how flawless it is in the show, because it's celebrated in a way that's not like, hey, we have diversity, you know. It's celebrated in such a flawless way that it's just integrated and woven in so well that it's just like it literally is just natural. And that's one of the
probably a real representation of what New York would be. It's not just going to be a bunch of white people. There's going to be lots of diversity.
Well, and you
but it's not just sorry.
Well, you mentioned that they weren't just token characters, and when you look at it, there's not any, I mean, there's not a single, like, there's not just, oh, that's the black guy on the cast because there's Raymond Holt and Terry Jeffords, or that's the Latino woman on the cast. Well, no, there's two. Oh, that's the LGBTQ person on the cast. Well, no, there's two. There's always multiple. So it's not just okay, now you've got to represent all stories that have to do with race or have to do with these kind of issues. No, they've got a whole cast that can do that, and multiple characters that can do that, and I think that works with the diversity. That's
one of my favorite things about Holt too, is that he's not portrayed as, I mean, he's portrayed as sassy and later, but he's not the typical gay man. He's not the sassy. He's not the
over eccentric.
Yeah, which is great. I love that character. But Holt is going to be the hard ass, the serious dude. And here's his husband Kevin, who's adorable as well.
Oh, I love Kevin.
Yeah.
For the handshake PDA
recurring character.
the relationship between his husband and Jake is just
Oh my
so
gosh.
dude.
I love it.
Because I do.
When they're stuck in the house together.
Oh my goodness.
God, he is
Uh-huh.
I love it at the very end where he talks about the one movie that he was nominated for an Academy Award that Nicolas Cage was actually nominated for. It's like,
You never watched that one?
but yeah, I think it just highlights that there's not, when we talk about the typical this or the typical that, the reality is there's not a typical anything out there. And so this really breaks through a lot of those stereotypes and just says, look, that's just one aspect of who these people are. And we celebrate every aspect of who each character is. And I think that really is why the show works.
right.
It's
Well
like
said,
Star
Jake.
Trek in a police precinct in a way.
So I was so worried. Like I said, Andy Samberg was my favorite SNL alum at the time. And when he left and this was like his first project afterwards, I was really worried because I don't like procedural cop shows, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty much the exact same thing after season 2. Every single episode is the exact same. And so I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a comedy, but it's basically going to be this. It's not that. Every episode is so different and the jokes are so funny and the characters are so compelling. And so all of my fears were unfounded because the show is just great, but it does not shy away from, we talked about diversity, but it also doesn't shy away from some really important topics like a bi person coming out to extremely conservative parents, or an active shooter, or hostage negotiations, or I think for me, this was definitely the most impactful and is probably right now the most important episode when Terry, as a black man, gets stopped by a white cop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Looking for his kid's moo-moo.
Yeah. I think that's something that is so endearing about the show is that they're not going to shy away from that. It's something that like needs to be portrayed.
Yeah. Well, and they do it in a real way too, right? I mean, you think when Terry goes to talk to Captain Holt, that Captain Holt's gonna be like, yeah, we got to fight this, take it all the way to the top. But then his response is more, no, you can't do anything. Like, you've got to lay low on this so that you can get promoted, so you can change things down the road and this and that. Right. And I think that would be a real reaction that someone in Captain Holt's position might have, right? Yeah. And it's not just this super duper happy ending where the good guys just win. Because if you remember, at the end of that, he files the complaint and then he doesn't get the spot on the committee that he was going for. It's probably because he filed the complaint. Like, that's real life. And it's in a sitcom, but it still portrays it in a very real way.
They do the same thing with Amy when one of her higher ups has her go on a date with him. And that's a really real situation where
bless you.
People in power try to prey upon people who want to get higher in their jobs.
Specifically, and then specifically in like in corporate America, women get preyed on a lot.
And I think they portray her in a realistic way, and like she doesn't know what the hell to do. She wants to keep doing better. Is this what she needs to do that? Does she need to stand her ground and risk being like it's such a real thing. It was it's very tender to see these real things being portrayed in a comedy. Like, make it like not as harsh, but still make it like clear these things aren't okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think the reason it hits us so hard is because we've laughed. Think about your best friends that you have. Think about how much you've laughed with them, right? I think
they're
that's
all
where
on this panel.
Oh.
Hear that, Zotter?
He knows.
No, but think about the people you've had the best time with your life and who you've grown closest to. You've laughed a lot with those people, right? And I think you build the best friendships when you are laughing, when you're finding common ground in humor and in joy. And so you get so attached to these characters, and then something real happens to them, and you feel it in your gut and in your heart, and it punches you right across the face. And it's powerful and it's important because that's how life is.
It's It's incredible how they've written these characters to almost be like our best friends. I don't know many TV shows that have that kind of an impact.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. Zoner just commented. No, Zoner just posted. That was her fault. So, sorry, you're having a beautiful soliloquy, and I'm like,
That's all right. It's whatever. Just move on.
No, I agree. I feel like especially like Boyle. Everyone wants a hype man like Boyle.
Oh yeah.
Like
most of the time. I mean, he's super positive, but he's also really awkward. I mean, like some of the stuff that comes out of that guy's mouth.
Ow!
I like the different names that it comes with. I don't remember what it was, but like
the Hammer.
Yeah, like stuff like that. I'm like, oh my god, this is hilarious. But don't ever say that.
And his little son, Nicolaj.
Nicolaj.
Oh, thank you.
Nicolaj. I don't hear it. I don't.
Yeah, I think we all want some of the people in the show to be our best friends.
Yeah.
And it's funny because really, if you look at each of them on their own, you don't really want them to be your best friend. But somehow in a group, like Gina is a great example for me. She is annoying, obnoxious. Like there's just everything about her that I don't know that I would like. But then when she leaves the show, like I'm torn. Like I'm sad that she's leaving because she's become a part of the team and she's a part of the famany. You know, literally
I feel a little offended by that because I feel like I am Gina.
Okay, here we go.
Listen, I would be
surrounding you, Steph.
Steph, I would be even more torn up if you left the Stolen Droids family, just so you know.
Oh.
I don't know what your biggest fan would do.
Oh,
either.
There's so much love and support in this panel.
It's just not for Zoner.
Laughed at me.
So, do you guys?
I just want to bring up a random quote from Boyle. What you did is the culinary equivalent of unprotected sex.
Is that when like Holt is making the eggs and he like doesn't put the salt in his pan? I think about that all the time.
The one that I think about most is when they're in the food truck and he's yelling at Amy and he's like, "Am I Jake? No. Then why are you trying to screw me?"
Yes. And you begin to realize this may be why your employees quit. I mean, this may be.
Do you guys remember the darkest day in Brooklyn Nine-Nine history?
Oh, which day was that?
When it got canceled.
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
So for anybody,
I got lightheaded thinking about it again.
For anybody who doesn't know, Brooklyn Nine-Nine was produced by NBC Universal, but it was broadcast on Fox. They had the distribution rights, which I always thought was really weird because all of my
TV is weird like that, though.
I know, but all of The Office, Parks and Rec, The Good Place, all of those were on NBC, and those were all his projects. So it was always weird to me that was on Fox. But regardless, Fox canceled it because they were like, you know what? We have too many good shows.
Well, they had to make room for Last Man Standing. That's why they canceled it, because they picked up Last Man Standing from ABC.
Anyway, within
even as good of a show.
Within 24 hours, Brooklyn Nine-Nine was saved by NBC, which it should have been on there all along. But to see the outpouring support from fans was incredible. But there was also a ton of celebrities who got behind the bandwagon. Mark Hamill was like, "Say Brooklyn Nine-Nine." Lin-Manuel Miranda, "Say Brooklyn Nine-Nine."
No, Steph. No, Steph.
I like how you can't do it anyways.
How do we boot her from? I'm trying to figure it out.
I'm in charge.
So it got picked back up, and there we go. Thank you.
She's going now.
So, everyone on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh wow, I thought I was gonna get somebody. So But so Lin-Manuel Miranda ended up guest starring it after it got saved.
Yeah.
And Sean Astin's been on the show. Sterling Brown was on the show.
Oh my God. Sterling K. Brown's episode is one of my
So
favorites.
good.
Remind me who he was.
So good.
The dentist.
He was the dentist
he was-
that
He
they
told
in
his
the
wife.
interview.
Yeah.
No, the interrogation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Which is such
it's
a great
hilarious.
episode between Holt and Jake. Like, it's so well done.
It's so well done.
For sitcom aficionados, that's called a bottle episode. It's where you have a limited cast and you just shoot in one room, like the whole time.
Well, I think
So really,
sorry, go for it.
I was just going to say, when you talk about the darkest day in Brooklyn Nine-Nine history, it ended up being really one of the most triumphant days because of the fan support and everything it was brought back. And really, when you think about it, that's like one of the most Brooklyn Nine-Nine things ever, right? Like they find themselves in these really crummy situations, but they all band together and get through it somehow. And it's just amazing.
It was great too to hear them talk about it because they didn't realize how many people loved their show.
Oh
And
yeah.
they were just so touched. They're like, "Oh my gosh, all these people love us," and it's like, yeah.
But there's one guest star. There's one guest star that they have to get. They've got to get before the series ends.
Who?
Bruce Willis.
Oh, of course.
Bruce
Jake
Willis
would pass out. He would
as
just
Bruce
pass out the
Willis.
entire
Can you
episode.
imagine?
It would be awesome.
That
Or
would be
would it
the
be like
best.
a friend
Awesome.
situation where he plays another character and not Bruce Willis?
Well, and
No.
then Jake would kind of just be like, "He looks really familiar.
His gosh,
Yeah.
I can't place him."
Just
Or
so
you
you
know,
know,
like, that guy's so cool.
There is one really important character we have not talked about yet, and that is Cheddar.
Cheddar!
Cheddar.
Cheddar.
Not a
Cheddar.
common
Oh
bitch.
my God. You can't have a heist without cheddar.
You can't.
That's
He's
what
not
I was.
just
We
a
have to
common
talk about
bitch.
the heist too.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
some. Oh, Brooklyn
Oh,
Nine-Nine
man.
did something better than any sitcom has ever done. So you always have your special holiday episodes, right?
Mhm.
But B99 has created the heist episodes, and you look forward.
Yes.
So there's two episodes every season that you have to look forward to: the heist episode and the Doug Judy episode.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Doug
Yep.
Judy.
So
Pontiac
so
Bandit.
good.
What was amazing was that this season there was 2 heists.
Oh my gosh.
I was immediately like, this is the only reason why 2020 is amazing right now.
That's a
We're
very
getting 2
true
heists.
statement. Very true statement.
The heist is just such. They're such well written, like specials. They're such. You don't expect what they're gonna do. They're not
Mhm.
like predictable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
proposal. Oh,
Gosh, that
With the cummerbund.
that's my
With the
favorite.
cummerbund.
Oh, you gotta read it. And she's like, gosh dang it. You bamboozled me.
There was a cute meme that was like, when Jake says that he thought about the heist the entire time while he was in jail, it just meant he thought the entire time about proposing to Amy.
Aww.
Tender, huh?
That is sweet.
Oh, and we can't forget another amazing guest star, Tim Meadows, who plays what's his
The
name?
cannibal.
Caleb? The
Yeah,
cannibal.
Caleb the cannibal.
Oh, yeah.
I hated cannibal.
Oh,
When
he
he's
was
talking to the guy
so
about the
funny.
bag of human hair that he got, and he's like,
Yeah. That,
Like when they go visit later, he's like, ah.
Yeah, I know. That's like my favorite part is when he goes to visit. He's like, I couldn't have made it through prison without you. And he's just like, well, you're welcome.
so the
I
show
love that through all the new seasons as well. They bring a new level of drunk Amy
Mhm.
every season. I think we're up to 9 drink Amy, but we still haven't said what 7 drink Amy is yet.
yeah. But they had to slow that down this season when she was pregnant. Like there wasn't
Yeah.
as much
Yeah.
drunk Amy.
I love how
That would have been irresponsible.
how they handled her pregnancy. They just made
Yeah.
fun of the like what people do to hide pregnancies.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
They missed a prime opportunity though to call their son Jamie.
Jamie.
Like a prime opportunity, and I was rooting for it the whole time. They didn't do it. I was like, You disappointed me.
It's the show is so good though, and it's almost too clever. A lot of usually around 5 or 6 season wise, sitcoms kind of have this dip.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not feeling it with Brooklyn.
Well, and it's interesting because they've done stuff where you feel like it's going to. Like, I swear, when they went down to Florida in the witness protection program, I was like, they're going to jump the shark here. This is it. This is the moment when the show jumps the shark. And they didn't. It was, I mean, Holt trying to play a straight single guy was some of the funniest stuff on the whole show.
With large breasts.
Yes.
There's nothing more erotic than a thigh gap. The obvious lack of a penis.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
I mean, nobody talks like that, really.
No,
I mean, come on.
Well, that reminds me of
You guys don't talk about thigh gaps?
I mean, not like that.
But that reminds me of like Sherlock when they had where like the last season you were like, this is not going well. This is where it tanks. And then they wrap it together perfectly at the end where you're like, that was the best season I've ever seen. And they kind of did that here where it was like, we're going to kind of mess with you a little bit. And then once it all comes together, you're going to be like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was worried too when they made the move over to NBC from Fox, even though it was all the same creators, all the same actors. Like, were they going to be as high quality or the same quality that we were used to? And I feel like it didn't miss a beat. It hasn't yet.
Not at all. It like they made a point about like swearing more.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just the way they do it is just perfect.
This B needs a C in her A. This babe needs a coconut in her arms. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're allowed more bleeps. You're allowed more bleeps on NBC than you are on. You're allowed bleeps and blurred nudity on NBC, not on Fox.
Yep.
Which is weird to me because I always thought of Fox as being the most risque.
Really?
That's interesting. Then you haven't watched a lot of Fox News.
You haven't watched a lot of HBO.
Okay, listen, kids. When Fox as a network came around, it was very risque because you had The Simpsons, Married with Children. A lot of the shows that they came out with were much more adult than what was on the other networks.
Hey,
so for me, it's weird to think of Fox as not being like that.
Thank you, Grandpa Jake, for that.
You're welcome. Anytime. Now get off my grass.
Raise your hand if you're under 30.
Oh, for what? A week?
Yeah, for like 3 days for you, Steph.
Hey, 3 more years.
Wow, gone. Oh,
just like that. Wow.
All right.
You made this panel really sexist.
Now.
I got Steph on with the double that time.
I turned 30 this year. Give me a break. I just barely turned 30.
Well, you look 19.
I love that even us just talking about the show is making us like belly laugh, and I think that just shows a testament of how good it is and how like quippy and memorable.
Memorable is what we call that word. Or rememberable.
I remember it a lot more than I remember words.
I would like to remind everyone of my actual most favorite scene of all time is when it calls Holt Dad.
Oh.
Dad.
It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just my favorite.
It's so cute.
But the guy who plays Jake Dad is great. Bradley Whitford, love that.
Yes.
He is amazing.
He's in Handmaid's Tale, but plays a much different character.
Oh, he's in Get Out. Same. Very different.
Oh, yeah.
He was also, I'm rewatching Agent Carter, and he wasn't in that. It was the guy that was in a show with him. Never mind.
Yeah. He's also in West Wing.
Yeah, I was going to say West Wing.
So is Bauer.
And he was Josh Lyman in West Wing, who was the campaign manager for Matt Santos, who's played by Amy's dad.
Oh,
There you go.
Amy's dad's
I
also in
didn't
Star
have
Wars.
that connection.
Yes,
Yes.
that's also true.
Such a
Yes.
small world. One of my favorite scenes from the most current season is when Jake is with his dad and grandpa and they knock over the gender
Yes.
cake. And they're like, we can't look. We have to do this blindfolded.
So they clean it.
So they clean up and they're like, that should be good, right? And there's just blue everywhere.
Oh man.
Marley, we did talk about the Backstreet Boys song.
We
It's
did.
classic.
Did.
We talked about it. Thanks for
And then
tuning
the
in.
cake turned out
Just-
green, right?
Suspect
Is that what
number
happened
one.
in
Could you?
Yeah. So she's having a whole.
One.
It's basically what's happening.
Um,
What is inside of me?
So this show is so good, and it's so funny, and it does a great job of tackling current concerns. But one of the biggest concerns right now has to, and they've touched on it before, but now it's a lot more prevalent, unfortunately, and that is widespread police brutality and systematic racism. So the writers have talked about how they had a season ready to, like, they were working on it, basically had to start from scratch. This is a show that, I mean, producers are really, or not producers, but studios are really afraid of, because it is a cop show and there's not a lot of positive, what am I trying to say?
Things.
Cop stories right now.
Yeah.
And so where do you guys think the writers will take this in order to A, address what's happening, B, keep the spirit of Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
You know, the more I think about it, the more I genuinely don't know.
Same.
I really can't place it, but I have a feeling they will kind of go side by side with that Terry episode. I think it'll have a lot of that feel. But other than that small taste that we got, I genuinely have no idea.
Do you think anyone will leave the force?
That's what I was going to say. I bet there will be people who leave the force, which I think would be good TV, like to see the struggle of a police force trying to deal with who they are as cops, trying to be good cops, trying to do the right thing, trying to fight against that injustice and inequality, but being in a system that might not let them. I think that would be really compelling.
I have
character-wise would step down.
So I have an idea about that. So I've watched a crap ton of TV. And so one of the things some TV shows do is they pull in a character that you've maybe seen once or twice, someone small. They'll bring them in, make them a bigger character for maybe half an episode or even a full episode or two, give you really good backstory, get to know who they are, and then something happens to them. Typically they die. It's just what happens. But I have a feeling that might be the way they do it, because I personally yet cannot see a main cast member leaving, other than possibly Terry.
You're just gonna say you never know when somebody's gonna pull a Donald Glover.
Exactly.
Well, what about like Amy being like a new mom? That could be a write-off for her.
I don't know, because she's so career centric.
But
that
she's also so black and white that not being able to have that gray.
I wonder if she would make it a point to be that light, and be that light for people, to show people that there are good. I wonder if she would be dedicated to being that person, so then their son can see their parents doing something good.
I could see that.
Yeah.
You know, the more I think about it, the character that I think could leave the force is Jake.
Really?
I don't see him leaving the show, but I could see him leaving the force.
Yeah.
And then he could be like a stay-at-home dad.
He'd be an adorable stay-at-home dad.
Even
Such a
just
great
a couple
stay-at-home dad.
episodes while he's like struggling with what's going on.
Part of what drives Jake's character is that cops are the good guys. He wants to be the hero. He wants to be the good guy. And I could see him really struggling in a time where that's really hard to see in a lot of places.
Yeah.
And wonder if he is the good guy. I could see it.
We know they're not going to shy away from it.
No, they won't.
Important. I think there has been like petitions for them to change them from cops or something, which I think is silly. That's not that's not helpful.
But
it's
like
discussing the problems, it's
right. And I think right now what we need is more portrayals of what police officers should be. What we need in the media and what we need in storytelling is more examples of police being held to a higher standard and living up to that higher standard. I don't think we need fewer of those. And I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine does that with the 99 precinct. Other cops, not so much. The Vulture, probably not so much. But like,
well, they have addressed corrupt cops before.
Yeah.
I think this is just going to be on a bigger scale. I didn't think about that with Jake. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Because I decided to make a COVID season of Grey's Anatomy, just in case anyone is wondering.
I heard about that.
Yep.
Which, I don't.
My wife loves Grey's Anatomy.
I love Grey's Anatomy too, but like,
I don't.
I don't.
Well, I'll tell you, if there's one thing I want after 2020 is to relive the pandemic on TV. I
know. Oh, you remember the good old days when we were and died?
But it'll be so much worse.
Yeah.
I have a question.
I just want to go and pet Lieutenant Peanut Butter.
Oh yeah.
Listen,
Sergeant now?
Yeah, I think he did get.
He was the sergeant. He got promoted.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it goes the other way around, sergeant to lieutenant.
Okay.
Who said they had a question?
I do. Because we're wrapping up, and this is something I've kind of been thinking about. Because we're, if you're watching this later, we're recording this live. It's about 9:45 right now. On what's today? On 9/9.
9/9.
On 9/9.
So we started this at 9 p.m. on 9/9. 9/9.
9/9.
Which that was just Terry Crews. That was his way of getting the crew warmed up, and they loved it so much they just put it in the show.
Yeah.
So we're recording this at night, right? How is it daytime at Collin's house?
That's actually a really good question.
Well,
What the heck?
Hey, what's happening?
Whoa!
I moved
Have
to
you time
London.
traveled? Do you have pimp particles?
Yes, I do.
That's a question I'm going to demand
really
answers to
bright light.
after the panel's over.
I want to know now.
You're just sticking your arm outside.
You're just
Yeah, Mike,
your arm
that's-
going into
Look,
the
it's just my wall.
Gonna go into going into the light.
He's just like, look, outside, see?
Well, while Collin goes towards the light, do we have any last thoughts on Brooklyn Nine-Nine? I feel like this was a very fun panel. Maybe not the most organized panel, but you know.
Well, we surprised ourselves with it and everyone else.
We surprised everyone, even ourselves.
It was a surprise that it was a surprise that it was a surprise, and I think we surprised very well.
And
Surprisingly.
when Zach was talking about the Terry Crews pumping people at 9/9, one of my favorite bloopers is they're filming a cold open, and all of a sudden, like Jake's just like da 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 da, and they all kind of sing along at the same time, and I'm like, I have never seen a cast more invested in their own show like that, to where not a doctor. Shh. They know about that. They know the joke. They do it. They
That's
do
awesome.
the opens. They know their song. It's so cool.
Yes.
Does everyone know that the Fremulon guy is Nick Offerman?
Offerman. Do you know who the not a doctor guy is?
No.
I looked it up one day, and
I'm pretty sure it's Seth Meyers.
Oh no.
Oh, is it?
yeah,
Not a doctor.
Not a doctor.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
So we talked about Brooklyn Nine-Nine on the Stolen Droids podcast a while back, and we did it because we were going to try to convince our faithful, loyal,
Zonzon Binks.
fearless leader to watch it, because he had never seen an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And I think like after we did that episode, he went and watched it and ended up binging a good portion of the series. This is one of those shows that if you have never seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine and you're wondering about all of these jokes that we've talked about tonight, all of these characters, like go watch it. You won't be sorry. Like it is really well done. And it, like, I love Parks and Rec. It's one of my favorite shows, but I will tell people just skip like the first season and a half. It doesn't start getting good until about that point. I don't have to tell you that with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Watch it from the beginning. There's not an episode you're not going to enjoy. Like, it's really, really well done.
And as somebody who I watch TV all the time, it's my hobby. I'm a professional binge watcher. I have never come across a TV show like that I don't have to say, okay, well, there's this one season where it's just like, you just got to get past it.
Mm-hmm.
It's flawless.
It's so consistent. And it's like you guys are saying.
Exactly. And it keeps me on my toes because of how much I watch, I can see patterns in different shows and how things are going to turn up. And with this show, I'm constantly just like, okay, like surprised. And it genuinely keeps me happy all the time.
Yes. All right.
How long have I been cheddar?
Oh my god.
That was the thing.
Really quick, the not a doctor guy, Michael Schur. He's a television producer and writer.
Yes.
Oh,
That's cool.
that is cool.
It does sound like Seth Meyers though.
Mike Schur plays Cousin Mose on The Office.
Oh,
Cousin Mouse.
So Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I think they really try to stay politically correct, but in a way that isn't, first of all, like condescending or frustrating, but in a way where the butt of the joke isn't someone being fat, isn't someone being a woman, isn't someone being a person of color. That is so refreshing. It's just really nice to not see that those things that a lot of shows and sitcoms rely on, not becoming just the easy way out.
I agree.
100%.
It's very wholesome.
Yes.
It really is.
So if you need something wholesome to watch, you have 6 cousins here that recommend it.
Especially that episode where there's a bunch of penises spray painted all over town. So wholesome.
I love that episode.
I love that Collin just changed your name to Peanut Butter after I just changed his name to Lieutenant Peanut Butter.
We're both peanut butters.
Anybody else?
Just put me on the stage. Just put me on the stage.
That's it for me.
Before we...
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Let's give away some stuff, Steph.
Yeah. So we made it to $1,900 tonight, y'all.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Great job.
Woo, woo.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we are going to give away, we have, let me see. We have a cute little tutorial print by Frigonomy.
Oh my gosh, those are amazing.
Frigonomy. That's how you say it.
We met her.
Frigonomy, yes. We have a
I
Slytherin
booked it
face
yesterday. I'm
mask
so sorry for me.
and $10 Mountain Donut gift card.
So what happens if the person that wins it is like a Hufflepuff?
I guess you'll have to figure it out.
Change houses, change personalities.
My
Are you a
husband
Hufflepuff
and my
there?
4-year-old daughter are both Slytherins, so I love Slytherins.
Are you a Ravenclaw?
Me?
Yeah.
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor!
No,
Hufflepuff!
no.
Ravenclaw.
I thought I just got rid of all the
Ravenclaw.
names I had put in my name picker, but thank goodness it's still there. So our
Who
winner
won?
for that is
We have 2 of each in here.
Say that again. Who won?
D. Nope. Yeah, D. Fielder.
Nice job, D.
Fielder.
Congratulations!
And also congrats to
Because
Zonner.
I'm
He's on
feeling
season
super
3.
sweet today, we're also going to give away the surprise.
Oh!
Yeah.
Look
So
at it.
2 tickets for Evermore Park, and they're doing Halloween stuff, so I'm really stoked about this one. And not a Harry Potter, that's Pokemon.
I was about to be really offended.
A Pokemon
Hufflepuff?
mask.
Usually when we're talking about pop culture, Steph does offend people.
That one wasn't on purpose, though.
Somehow that makes it better that it wasn't on purpose.
Who wins this?
Rob Walter.
Yay!
Yay, Rob!
So we will put those both up on Facebook, and you just contact me, and we'll figure out how to get it to you.
You
All
guys,
right.
Awesome.
will
We
you,
have fun panel
out of here?
tomorrow. What?
will you guys dance out of here with me?
Yeah, but first I want to announce our panels for tomorrow.
Yeah, can we talk about what we're doing tomorrow?
Okay, yeah, let's do that. What are we doing tomorrow?
We have with great power comes great responsibility. Iron Man quote.
Oh my gosh.
Nope.
Steph.
That's not how it goes.
Steph's not on that panel, right?
I joined it just so I could cause controversy. I remember.
I think you.
Oh, that's right.
Too.
And then we also have a sharks panel, a panel all about sharks.
Yep. Are they monsters or misunderstood? Like, how are they represented? It'll be great.
And are we human or are we dancer? We just don't know. So if you watch the panel.
Am I a man or am I a Muppet?
Oh, we dancers.
If you're a man, you're a very Muppet-like man.
Yeah. And if I'm a Muppet, I'm a very manly Muppet.
I'm
a man.
All right. On that note, I think we're going to
bring us out with the music, baby.
Amy dance, yeah.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
I guess we're still going.